Dear brothers and sisters, speaking to you at the opening of 2026 is a true honor and privilege, one that can only be experienced once in a lifetime. In our Poland, we have elected a new Archbishop for Silesia. The Bishop for Katowice had to leave Częstochowa, yet we had a great relationship with Bishop Andrzej Przybylski. I don't know if this will continue. I will surprised. Our Christian world, the human globe, is in turn captivated by the elegant Pope from the Americas. Pope the Leo XIV issued his first apostolic exhortation, not an encyclical, titled Dilexite, I loved you, on October 9th, 2025. It focuses on love for the poor, continuing the work of Pope Francis and addressing pressing social issues such as inequality and poverty. This document, available as an audiobook, reminds us of the inextricable link between faith and action on behalf of those in need. Beloved brothers and sisters, as a member of the nearly 3 billion Christian population, by 2050 there will be 3.3 billion of us in the world. I simultaneously return power to the people in their respect and dignity. This is most important to us. Right from the outset, I would like to note that in our Poland, which has found a vast home in old Europe after fair, democratic, and free elections, we are an even greater winner today than in the early 1990s. And we are all Zelensky. The war between Russia and Ukraine continues. We have never seen anything like this before. So many deaths in such a short time in such a small area. This is one of the worst tragedies in this country's history. We are devastated. Russia is indifferent to such massive human losses. What could alarm the country would be harsher sanctions and any guarantees longer. We are coordinating our positions, and everyone in Europe must unite to defend our European way of life, the independence of our states, and peace in Europe. Peace must reign. Dearest, how is it possible the 21-year-old possesses pistols and rifles and has the means to buy ammunition, knives, and commit this horrific massacre, as has happened so many times in Americas and in his native Europe? And just as money is immortal, Tolstoy, somebody once they said. So, in my opinion, a similar situation will always be immoral. The negotiation process, on the other hand, is not a competition where only winners and losers matters. The negotiation process is not a competition where only winners and losers matters. It's not about people or negotiating parties. It's about all of Europe, but about the health of our societies. But no one in the world has self-control. I constantly fight against the illegal deportation from my homeland of people on the move, deprived of self-defense. In our Poland, every act of aggression, even by drones, will be met with an immediate harsh reaction that its perpetrators could not have imagined. All the more so an act of repression by a government that increasingly disregards the rule of law and seeks to silence its critics by every means possible, will do so immediately. Today marks the beginning of the era of high-energy laser defense. We are not surprised, and this is important. I don't know if you've read or seen this, but our neighbors have a large facility or a large installation from which ships arrive in the Baltic Sea. It's one thing to offend someone because they being offensive. It's another to attack the home. This is not the right time for such things. We want to circumvent this. The laser is there to help. Mastering arithmetic, my friends, isn't a matter of arrogance. We have to be prepared for anything. For a long time, ideologues in Europe have led an organized effort to force American platforms to punish American views that don't suit them. And so the modern world continues to perpetrate its problems. We need Greenland for national security, President Donald Trump noted. Dear friends, a word to our American friends. Censorship doesn't belong where you think. And now for other matters. Mercosur, even in our own Poland, will be criticized. And Trump's tariffs impose not so much on Russia, but on the entire world, I ponder, are incomprehensible. Let it be different in a united Europe. The rules by which we want to live in the digital space in Germany and Europe will not be established in Washington. And now, a word of encouragement to the members of the European Parliament. We are on your side. Decisive, coordinated European action remains essential for peace, freedom, and security. Let's also say this. Finland is prepared for various security challenges and we will respond accordingly. Also in Poland, my country. Unfortunately, France is struggling with a serious crime problem, which is the result of disastrous immigration policy. In his traditional New Year's address for 2026, President Alexander Van der Bellen calls for a renewal of European patriotism in the face of growing pressure on Europe. He also refers to the reforms currently needed in Austria. Alexander Van der Bellen is perceived as a centrist, liberal politician and supporter of a strong European Union and pro-European, often criticized by the far right for his liberal views on migration and ecology. His stance is usually a defense of democratic values and peaceful integration. He is a staunch supporter of European integration, seeing it as a guarantee of peace and stability. He opposes nationalist and Eurosceptic tendencies. He places a strong emphasis on environmental protection and the fight against climate change consistent with his earlier career as leader of the Green Party. He advocates a humanitarian and open policy towards refugees, which has sometimes been the subject of criticism from more conservative and right-wing circles in Austria. He supports a market economy with a strong social component emphasizing innovation and sustainable development. The President of Austria acts as a moral compass for his country, upholding the constitution, democracy, and the rule of law, often opposing populist governments. He is a symbol of pro-European, liberal, and ecological Austria, often standing in opposition to the far-right forces in the country, I said. At this point, allow me to speak about same-sex marriage. For I dare say, if two men or two women are determined to make the same mistake as heterosexuals, they should be allowed to do so. Somebody said. However, the natural state stinks and we don't want them in ours. My dears, the European Union is one of the world's largest economies. It's time to recognize our strengths and realize that we have negotiating power. A role model for all nations of the world is an example of how peaceful a coexistence is possible. In this sense, Europe's stars continue to shine and guide us when darkness falls elsewhere. Citizens of the European Union, give ourselves strength, be brave, take a step forward, be brave. Poland is with you. Poland and the European Union are rivals only on the football pitch. Beyond that, We are closest partners. I share the immense joy of the families and friends at this historic moment. Now the time for healing must begin. For the hostages, according to different values, the families and the entire region of the world that proudly bears the name of the ancient Europe. Although our values are under such fierce attack, we should defend them with at least equal force. We are responsible not only for what we want, but also for what comes of it. Let the culture of the European Union, which has existed continuously since the times of Hellas and ancient Rome, continue to flourish. Artistic freedom is a privilege, and this privilege requires conviction. But I want clarity, swift and comprehensive clarity. I do not want to go down in history as a cowardly hero of difficult times. Therefore, I pose a rhetorical question. Are the inhabitants of another region of the world, of another origin, other? After all, they too, here on earth, Mother Earth, desire to begin and develop the most wonderful life. They don't need meat, but we do. They are there for each other and with each other, and this will remain for us forever the best example, believe it, of Polish teamwork. However, I agree with the verdict of the people of our Poland. Respect for the voters' decisions compels me as priest from Częstochowa to respect the majority, but it doesn't not absolve him from the duty to speak out on complex matters. I did not take this step lightly, and just as I would like to say this to distant immigrants, I say this to you. Grit your teeth. It will work out somehow. Hatred and intolerance have no place in our Poland. Our history has already proven that we can unite in difficult matters. The welfare state, as we know it today, is no longer financially sustainable, considering our personal contribution to the national economy. This time, I believe, we will be able to cope even more successfully with the accumulation of crises currently facing European countries. Earth has not always been a blue planet. In the past, its color varied green, red, and perhaps even purple, if only because of snail secretion. Just as the earth could once have been purple and now is blue, I would like to be a priest in green, even if only be a hair's breadth, even if only be by a hair's breadth. We discussed several important details of the ongoing work of the Poles. May the era of their work begin in earnest after the end of the war between Russia and Ukraine, or the achievement of a ceasefire. Peace and goodness go together. If we do these two things, we will be strong enough to defend ourselves, even emerge victorious from the unrest for a wider homeland and the happy future of tomorrow of our societies with the new year 2026. I wish you Happy New Year 2026.